but also the founding of a brand new Alumni Association. And I am especially pleased to be here. My name is Maureen Bunyan. For those of you who are not from the Washington area, I am of Guyanese descent. And my parents are both from Guyana, one from Berbice, one from Georgetown. And many, many years ago, when my dad was leaving Guyana, he predicted that Guyana would soon have a wonderful university. The university obviously was founded after he left, but I know that if he had been in Guyana in the 60s when the university was founded, he would have been absolutely thrilled. And President Mason of UDC, my dad also worked here at UDC in the electronics laboratory, and loved this school. So I welcome you, and I would like to I guess we have to work with the music. I'll come out here and do a little dance. Oh, they heard that. I would like to welcome His Excellency Riyadh Al-Banali, the patron of this event. I would also like to welcome University of Guyana Vice Chancellor Iblock Griffith, University of Guyana President Ronald Mason, Professor Mohammed Martin, special guests, and of course, UG alumni and friends. Thank you for being with us and for your patience as we get started this evening. I wonder if there are any of you in this room today who were in Guyana and were at the founding of University of Guyana. Anyone here? Someone over here. Please stand so we may applaud you. Congratulations, thank you. This is a great turnout for an event that is an inauguration in many ways. I had no idea that there were so many UG graduates in the Washington area, but I should have known better. And I'm so happy to meet some of you and, of course, to renew friendships with so many of you. We are very happy here in Washington to have such a vibrant Guyanese community. I know that the Guyana diaspora is huge. My family, like so many of yours, lives on the east coast of the US, in Canada, and in the United Kingdom. And it's wonderful when we get together, especially for the purpose of doing some good.
Guyanese, just let you know, I've only heard it for the first time like an hour ago, so bear with me.
So much. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen, for your kind introduction, and thank you, everyone, for honoring the memory of my wife, Sarah. She herself felt greatly honored to have been asked to be a co-patron tonight and would have been delighted to be here with us all. Sadly, that was not to be. But the various expressions of sympathy, support, and solidarity coming our way from many of you have helped to ease the burden of grief, and I thank you all very much. Vice Chancellor Griffith, Dr. Edward Green, Chairman of the Local Organizing Committee, members of the Local Organizing Committee, fellow Guyanese, UGAA alumni, friends. It's my duty to welcome you tonight, and first of all, I'd like to say that I am deeply honored to be your patron this evening. And in fact, having such a fancy title means that I don't do anything. None of the hard work involved in this can be attributed to me. It is all due to the efforts of Dr. Green, Oriel Green, the Local Organizing Committee, and other collaborators. And the success of this inaugural Renaissance Gala and fundraiser is borne out in the fact that it's a sold-out event. Ladies and gentlemen, please give yourselves a big round of applause. And please, a round of applause to Dr. Green and his committee. This means, of course, that next year will be an even bigger event. Right, Eddie? The second measure of your success will, of course, be the continuing commitment to accompany the Vice Chancellor during this ongoing period of renaissance at the university. Of that I have no doubt, and I thank you all for being part of this endeavor. Allow me, please, to commend the Vice Chancellor on his vision and his mission to revitalize our premier tertiary institution, not only to make it fit for purpose in terms of Guyana's own transformation and new development needs, but also to remind us of the pride we should feel in the quality of the graduates it has produced over the years. Now, as we look to the future, with ever-increasing confidence and expectations, you can be assured that our young people will be educated to play a role in making Guyana the country we have all dreamed of for so long, a land of wealth and opportunity for all. I thank you sincerely for the honor of naming me patron, and I take this opportunity to reassure you, as Guyana's ambassador, as a former UG lecturer myself, which is my first job, and as the son of a man who gave the best part of his professional life to helping to mold young minds at the university, of my own personal pledge to support future efforts aimed at transforming and rejuvenating UG and our country, which both our institution and our country truly deserve and need. I thank you very much for your presence tonight, for your support, for your ongoing support, and I wish you a most enjoyable evening.
I would like to thank our generous sponsors for the evening, including Caribbean Cargo DC, Exxon, Federal Management Services, Fly Jamaica Airways, the Roraima Institute, the Hitching Post Restaurant, Basilio Cobb Associates, Ramdas Pharmacy, Caribbean Caterers, the Maryland International Day School, and the University of Guyana. Thank you all for your sponsorship. And please remember that the silent auction is continuing in the foyer, and the cash bar is also available during dinner. Check out the round trip on Fly Jamaica. I wonder where it's flying on that round trip. And anywhere in the Caribbean, is that true? We also have beautiful paintings by Guyanese artists, highly acclaimed Guyanese rums, and a timeshare. Does anybody know where the timeshare is? Where it's located? Also a beautiful Guyana table book, coffee table book, and a specially minted University of Guyana alumni pin. We are here thanks to UDC, University of the District of Columbia, for its concessions and the willingness of its president to collaborate in this venture. It's my great pleasure now to ask President Ronald Mason of UDC to share a few remarks with us. President Mason.
Good evening. Welcome to the University of the District of Columbia, the public institution of higher learning in and for the nation's capital. You can cheer for that, yeah. And so I was recently in Guyana this past summer, and I came to two conclusions. One is that Guyana is a beautiful country, and two is that it's full of beautiful people. Even if a lot of them are in the District of Columbia. Now, I'm going to introduce some really beautiful, special people in my life from Guyana. First, I have General Errol Schwartz, who is on our Board of Directors, Board of Trustees, and also the former commander of the Army National Guard in the district, right? And he's a UDC alum. But not only is he a UDC alum, his beautiful wife is, and his brother is. And we also have Paul Tanasi, Dr. Tanasi from Guyana, who is one of our favorite faculty members here. Raise stand up, Paul, so they can see you. Now, I'm just going to do a little experiment. How many folks in here are graduates of either UDC or one of its predecessor institutions, Federal City College? Yeah, stand up so we can just see the connection. See? So we're kind of like the University of Guyana, USA. But they gave me 3 minutes, so I can't talk too long. Let me just say this. I was in your country to work with and learn about your university, the University of Guyana. And what I learned was that you have all the ingredients to be a great university. You have a great chancellor. You have great leadership, and you have a great vision for the future of the university. And the key to a great country, as I've been telling my mayor here in the District of Columbia, the key to a great place is the great university. And so it's my pleasure to work with your Chancellor, Vice Chancellor Griffith. If you ever need anything, as I just told him, from the University of the District of Columbia, we are here for you. Congratulations. I know you're going to have a great time tonight. I'm a little old to hang out and dance with you, but enjoy UDC and welcome again.
Thank you so much, President Mason. As I mentioned earlier, UDC is very dear to me and to my family, and I want to also compliment UDC and the president, because one of UDC's hallmarks is its amazing outreach to students from the Caribbean. And I know that for Dr. Tennessee has worked with many, many of them, has prepared so many of them who've gone back to the Caribbean to share their knowledge and to share their expertise that they received here at UDC. So this is a very special school. The other thing that I'd like to compliment UDC on is this beautiful, amazing student center. It's world class and just lovely. And I really say to all of you, and I hope President Mason doesn't mind if I promote the student center, but are adults okay coming in here too, as well as students? It's all right? Okay. Okay. As long as we pay. But thank you so much, President Mason. Now, we're going to serve dinner, and after dinner, we will tell you more about our program, and also, during the dinner, if you care to, you can sneak out and bid on the silent auction items. Bon appetit. Of Hess Oil, he is the manager of international government affairs. Then, João Castroneves, who is the director of international government relations for Exxon. And our own former mayor, Vincent Gray, and current DC council member, and the man under whose tutelage the university was able to get the funds to build this beautiful center. Also, Ann McKinney, Vice President of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. McKinney? Now, before I ask Professor Ivala Griffith to come forward, we have a short video about the university to show you so that you can get a bit more of a flavor of the university's vision and of its programs. But before we go to do that, I want to ask all former members of UG staff to stand and be recognized. Former members of the University of Guyana staff. Thank you so much. Now let's take a look at this video.
I want everybody to know that I will always love you.
I chose the University of Guyana because I wanted to show people like me, people around my age at the time, that there was nothing wrong with UG. That coming to UG did not mean that your brain was not one of the best brains in the world. Coming to UG did not mean that you could not change this country, the region, and the rest of the world.
I'm the one who loves you every morning. I'm the one who loves you in the night. I'm the one who loves you when you're hurting.
The university afforded us an opportunity to get tertiary education without having to go abroad, something that was customary at that time, which meant that you had to come from fairly rich parentage to be able to afford a university education.
Everything that I've achieved is because of UGC, and I hereby pledge my allegiance, my love and support to UGC. No matter where life takes me, I will always support UGC as long as I live.
For whatever I've achieved, I'm very thankful for the start that I got at UG, and it's made me a better person. Thank you, Doctor.
I will always love you. I turn the leaf back to tell you why. But I will always love you. Morning I'm saying.
The intellectual discussions along the catwalk, the last minute cramming for finals, and the strict no-nonsense lecturers all helped to lay a solid foundation and mold me into the person that I have become.
I completed a diploma, a degree, a postgraduate diploma, all on student loans. I therefore owe a debt of gratitude to the University of Guyana for providing me with an enabling environment to help me along the path and also becoming the person I am today.
I embarked to the financial industry. Now I'm a financial crime specialist. I work for Bank of Montreal. And now I'm in HSBC Guyana, all because of University of Guyana.
Oh, but I'm the one who loves you every morning. I'm the one who loves you every night.
My 4 years at the University of Guyana helped me not just professionally, but in terms of the relationships, the friends that I've been able to build, the networking I've been able to do. And I think the UG has really given me a strong foundation upon which I was able to build my career.
We all would have had good and challenging experiences on campus, which would have allowed us to become resilient, passionate, and driven individuals. Let us now inspire, innovate, and commit to create and create a better university as of today. Not tomorrow, not next year, but now.
I am UG, born, raised, and proud.
I'm the one who loves you big when it's heavy. I'm the one.
Thank you so much for that video. Now, would you please give a warm, warm welcome to UG Vice Chancellor Gala Griffith.
A round of applause for Mistress of Ceremonies. Come on, you can do better than that. Come on. A resounding round of applause. She's doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm available to teach at UG.
By the powers vested in me as Vice Chancellor, I hereby appoint you as Honorary Professor. Let me see by a show of hands how many people want a long speech. I saw 2 hands go up. May I see by a show of hands how many people want a short speech?
2 seconds.
Dr. Green, the short speech vote has it. It shall be a short speech. I want to begin by telling you that standing from this vantage point, I see elegance and elegance and elegance. So let's do the following. Look to the person next to you and repeat after the Vice Chancellor. Look to the person next to you and repeat after me. Neighbor, you are looking great. Neighbor, you are looking elegant. Neighbor, where did you buy those clothes? Neighbor, where did you get that jewelry? Give your neighbor a round of applause. Mistress of Ceremonies, allow me to begin my few minutes, my 2 Guyanese minutes, which is like 6 regular minutes of remarks, by thanking and inviting to stand all the organizers of this wonderful event. Everyone as part of the local organizing committee, please stand for us to recognize the hard work that you did here. Let's give him a round of applause, please. But you also heard from the mistress of ceremonies that credit also is due to the sponsors. Credit also is due to UDC. And since UDC has a larger budget than the University of Guyana, Ron, I feel compelled to ask that the UDC make a down payment on next year's contribution to the Gala for 2019. Let's give a thanks, appreciation to the University of the District of Columbia. Allow me to read you a few lines from a poem by someone who was dear to many of us, who also had a sojourn at the University of Guyana as writer in residence. It's a gentleman called Martin Carter. And I want to share with you a few lines from Martin Carter's I Come from the Nigger Yard, and tell you how we all are part of what Martin Carter spoke about, even though he was not referring to the University of Guyana. I come from the nigger yard of yesterday, leaping from the oppressor's hate, and the scorn of myself from the agony of the dark hut in the shadow, and the hurt of things, from the long days of cruelty and the long nights of pain, down to the streets of tomorrow, of the next day. Leaping I come, who cannot see will hear. I come from the nigger yard of yesterday, leaping from the oppressor's hate and the scorn of myself. I come to the world with scars upon my soul, wounds in my body, fury in my hands. I turn to the histories of men and the lives of peoples. I examine the shower of sparks and the wealth of the dreams. I am pleased with the glories and the sad with the sorrows, riches with the riches, poor with the loss. From the nigger yard of yesterday, I come with my burden to the world of tomorrow. I turn with my strength. Now you may be asking, yes, please give Martin Carter a round of applause. You may be asking, what does this have to do with this gala? What does this have to do with this Renaissance? What we are doing at the University of Guyana as part of Project Renaissance is building a better tomorrow. And building that better tomorrow cannot be done only by looking to the individuals who are currently in Guyana. We've got to embrace the broader constituency of not only graduates, but we've got to embrace the constituencies of the diaspora, even of people who are not Guyanese. Our university has not only produced Guyanese of distinction, but many non-Guyanese of distinction. And I want to hazard a conjecture, Madam Mistress of Ceremonies, that your presence here tonight is an indication of your willingness to invest in being part of building that tomorrow. The tomorrow for Guyana is a tomorrow to which the University of Guyana is an indispensable part. A better Guyana cannot be built without a better University of Guyana. Many of you will have known from the times, those of us who studied at the university, and I'm a product of the 1970s of the University of Guyana, that there has been lots to lament in the decades, the last few decades, in the decline in many respects. But we are not in a moment of lamentation in Project Renaissance. We don't have the luxury of lamenting. On campus and around Guyana, I speak a lot about a gentleman called Rabindranath Tagore, a gentleman who made history in 1913 in becoming the first person of non-European descent to win the Nobel Prize for Literature. And what Tagore said there is something we're embracing at the university as part of a renaissance. He said, you cannot cross a sea simply by standing and staring at the water. You cannot cross any sea, whatever your challenge is. Lamentation and hope without intentionality and action are not going to get you to cross that sea. And so we're trying to cross the seas and build a better tomorrow by embracing our constituencies, some of whom are called alums. By embracing constituencies, some of whom are called friends. By winning new friends, some of whom are here for the first time. Many of us went to the University of Guyana at a time when the education was dirt cheap. Can I see a show of hands of those of us who had an entirely free education at the university during the 70s? Many of us went there and got a splendid education for free. All we were required to do is 1 year of national service. We have an obligation to give back, to be part of building that tomorrow in a way in which, even as we were students, we did not contemplate the value and the value proposition that now is a university. Part of the new dispensation of our university is one that says not only do we not have the luxury of lamenting, we have the obligation to build forward in the context of what is necessary given the nation's trajectory. Yesterday, we had a wonderful event at the Arthur Chung Conference Center, launching a brand new Institute for Food and Nutrition Security. We're convinced that Guyana not only has under-actualized its potential for agriculture, but we don't want at the University of Guyana to allow our nation to put all our eggs in the oil basket and forget the centrality of who we actually are. We are a nation that can feed not only the Caribbean, but further afield. And so part of our trajectory is preparing for oil and gas. We'll be launching a new master's program in January in conjunction with the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine. We'll be launching a new associate in petroleum engineering in conjunction with the University of Trinidad and Tobago. But we're also mindful that almost 65% of our people are youth. And we've got to do things to embrace and give the opportunity for that investment in the human capital, significant to which is our youth. And so we'll be launching, among other things, in January of next year, a new degree in food science, a new degree in youth work, opportunities to expand the horizon, not to neglect oil and gas, but not putting all our eggs in the oil and gas basket. That is not part of what we at the university feel is part of our tomorrows. I want to ask that not only we give a round of applause to support and appreciate the work of the local committee and the sponsors, but lots of work preparing for this and the things that will come afterwards, done by Deputy Vice Chancellor of our university's Office of Philanthropy, Alumni, and Civic Engagement. Give Pace a round of applause, please. And you may have noticed that towards the end of that short video, the music used was the music of one of our musical and entrepreneurial icons, a gentleman called Eddie Grant. How many of us grew up on the music of Eddie Grant? Well, part of the new dispensation, part of the Renaissance, is the university enabling the nation to celebrate and recognize our icons. And so we shall be awarding our first set of honorary doctorates in a few weeks. Eddie Grant will be one of those recipients. We'll be awarding at the top of the list of our honorary doctorates another icon called Yesu Prasad. Yesu Prasad turned 90 last week. I called him to offer words of congratulations. He said, Vice Chancellor, I am so glad you called. I have to go rest now. I just came back from Essequibo. I said, yes, so what are you doing in Essequibo? He went to open a new green bank. The Demerara Bank is Guyana's not only first indigenous bank, but one now that is the second leading bank, including all the international banks in our republic. And I think it's time that as we build a new tomorrow, we need to lift up the icons and the exemplars of our nation, not allow other universities only to recognize them. Yesterday, University of the West Indies honored Shiv. And there are people in Guyana who are complaining that I want to award honorary degrees. We need, in building the new tomorrows, to be able to celebrate our icons or exemplars and motivate and inspire others to want to do that. Now, I'm looking at the Mistress of Ceremonies and she's giving me that you only have 1 minute left. So as I get to my one Guyanese minute, which is like what, 3 minutes left, let me share with you what is part of our tomorrows, give you a sense of the last few weeks and what are some of the things coming. When many of us went to the University of Guyana in the 70s and early 80s, we had one graduation ceremony. This year we are obliged to move to 4 ceremonies. We'll have 3 ceremonies at the Turkan campus, all in one day, about 1,800 graduates. And then we'll have 1 ceremony the following week in the Berbice campus, about 300 graduates. But it is not only the importance of the growth. Started in 1963 with 164 students. Now in 2018, 8,426 students. It is also the expansion of programs over the period of years that have allowed us to be obliged to have to go beyond 1 ceremony. When we have the ceremony on November 10, we'll be graduating students with 12 first-time graduating degrees. A Master's of Science in Emergency Medicine for the first time. Masters of Science in Chemical Dependency Rehabilitation for the first time. But part of what we're looking to do is not only have new degree programs, but to build the partnerships with private sector, partnerships with individuals called alums, partnerships with individuals called corporate entities in and out of Guyana. And so I want to thank you for being a potential partner if you already have not indicated that willingness to do so. And what we're looking in doing as part of the Renaissance is not asking you only to give big money. If you have big money, please give it. But the opportunity to give back can come in many ways. And I was moved, and I want to share with you as I wind down to my 30 seconds, Madam Mistress of Ceremonies. A graduate from 1982 who also worked at the university, retired in 1994. She's now 86 years old. She wrote me a touching letter a few weeks ago. I want to help with this university's maintenance. All I can afford is $10,000. This 86-year-old graduate, I am sure those $10,000 mean a lot to her sustenance. I say that this graduate from 1982 from Plaisance on the east coast of Marara is an example of what you can do with what you have. And some of us have the ability to do not only of our own, but we have the ability to do by opening doors, by enabling the companies with which we are connected to enable scholarships to be made, to be established, by enabling churches with which we are affiliated to make contributions, to celebrate our spouses, to celebrate our parents, to celebrate professors who made a difference in our lives, by honoring them by creating opportunities for others to come and to benefit from them. So let me end where I began, and that is by thanking you, but also by leaving with you those prescient words from Martin Carter. As we build a new tomorrow, coming from the nigger yard of yesterday, let's be mindful of the following. I come from the nigger yard of yesterday, leaping from the oppressor's hate and the scorn of myself. I come to the world with scars upon my soul, wounds on my body, fury in my hands. I turn to the histories of men and the lives of peoples. I examine the shower of sparks, the wealth of the dreams. I am pleased with the glories and sad with the sorrows. I am rich with the riches and poor with the loss. From the nigger yard of yesterday I come with my burden. To the world of tomorrow I turn with my strength. Ladies and gentlemen, we all are, irrespective of whether we are in the diaspora, irrespective of whether we are Guyanese in this room, potentially part of the tomorrow in building back better a University of Guyana. So let me invite you to do the following. Look at the person to your left or the person to your right and repeat after the Vice Chancellor. Neighbor, you still are looking great. Neighbor, you still are looking sexy, even though you're not my wife. This is only for the women, not for the men telling men that kind of stuff. Neighbor, I still like your jewelry. Neighbor, I love those pair of shoes you have on. Neighbor, I love my uniform. The volume is going down. Let's get back to energy. Neighbor, I love my university. Neighbor, I have $100 in my pocket. Let me say it again. Neighbor, I have $100 in my pocket that I will give to the University Alumni Association. Not $20. We are in these United States and we are only dealing with us currency. Give yourselves a round of applause, please.
We can continue the civic engagement with the alumni here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, Washington. You are so beautiful. I've not seen so many beautiful dresses in one place in such a long time. I am so moved by this beautiful outpouring of support for the university. Thank you on behalf of the Vice Chancellor again, the university, and the 25,000 plus alum around the world. I bring you greetings from those alum, the students of the university right now, and the ones who will be gracing us with their presence in the future. This evening is perhaps the most beautiful culmination of a series of events that we've had over the last 4 months or so. As you have heard before, the university is 55 years old, just 55 years old, on October the 1st. And these last 4 months, we have only been able to start the alumni associations in 4 parts of the world. And Washington is by far the largest, the most beautiful, the most vibrant. And for that, we'd wish to add some more thanks to the organizing committee, to Eddie Oriel, Ambassador Insonali, to Mr. Brasilio, to all those people who have made this evening possible. The alumni associations that we have launched in the last 4 months are in Georgetown, in Berbice, in London, and in Toronto. It's the beginning of a series of baby steps that should have been made a long time ago. And I'd like to publicly acknowledge and thank the Vice Chancellor, this Vice Chancellor in particular, for his gumption. And I would like to say gumption. Yes, it is gumption, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people, when he established the office, that would intentionally go out and seek alumni, seek to connect alumni with the university, seek to do philanthropy in a culture that does not, people think, understand and support philanthropy. People thought that that was crazy. And guess what? In these last few months, we've seen a number of wonderful partnerships, not only the alumni associations, but some wonderful partnerships, and some of those people are in this room. And those partnerships have nothing to do in particular with this event, but with some more important and even more far-reaching projects that the university is pursuing. Our recent grant with ExxonMobil and CI, for instance, with CGX, for instance, with Yasu Prasad, with the Subraj family, who are building a psychology center on campus. These things would not be possible without the office that was so audaciously established 2 years ago. And that's why I say gumption. So what are we going to do to launch this Alumni Association? It's not the easiest thing in the world, and we have to figure out how to do it in every place we go because the conditions on the ground are always different. But the first thing we'd want to ask is that people who are interested in serving, and you don't only have to be an alum, they're alumni and friends and family and so on. So if you feel like you can serve in some way, please let us know, either by telling the young ladies in the front who are taking names at registration, or our Alumni Association website is going to be live on Monday, and there are forms that will be filled, that you can fill out online, or you can tell Eddie, Oriel, or anybody here that you're interested in serving. What we initially do is set up an interim committee that works on the groundwork, you know, getting the association incorporated and things like that. And then there is a big extraordinary meeting about 6 months later, once the groundwork is set, to elect a membership. There's a constitution that is linked to the university's council, sanctioned by the council, but each of these organizations is semi-autonomous. So pretty much you do what you think is best within the guidelines of the University of Guyana's council. So that sounds fairly easy. It's not so easy to do, but those are the first steps. So just, if you're interested, please let us know. I want to close by saying a few things about Guyana and the University of Guyana. And I might be challenged in saying this, and that's fine. That's what scholarship is about. But I believe that my country, our country, Guyana, is of planetary significance at this moment. Not regional significance, not global significance, but planetary significance. And that has to count for something. We have the lungs of the world in our country. We have some of the best water in the world in our country. We have some of the rarest earths in the world in our country. We have oil, yes we do, but we have so many other things, natural resources in our country. And I believe that the University of Guyana at this particular point in history is poised and is the most significant institution that you can support to not only develop Guyana, but to really stabilize a planet. That may be an audacious statement to make, but I think if you think about it, you'll see that the evidence is there. In closing, I'd like to leave you not with Martin Carter, you've heard a lot of him, and I love him too, but with Shakespeare, who says something like this. He says, "There's a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at a flood, leads unto fortune. Omitted, all the voyages of our lives are bound in shallows and miseries. On such a full sea are we now afloat, and we must take the current where it leads, or forever lose our vengeance. Washington, you stepped up. Let's not lose our vengeance." Thank you.
I want now to acknowledge our table sponsors, the wonderful people who have brought their families and friends here to help support this launching of Alumni. First, Sir George Aline, Mervyn Anthony, Ralph Basilio, Conversation International, Wilfred David, Barry Dingyal, David Harry, Floyd Haynes, and Anthony Ramdas. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Now we have to go back to a topic near and dear to everybody's heart. We have to go back to money. We haven't left it very long. We are accepting pledges and donations, and we want to recognize several people who have already pledged and who have contributed to the university. And I also want you to know that you are free to pledge from the floor tonight, and certainly are free to pledge online at UGAF, University of Guyana, Alumni Fund.org. UGGAF as in Frank.org. The pledges I would like to thank right now include Professor Wilfred David, who has contributed to 5 bursaries beginning in the academic year 2019 to 2020. Thank you so much, Professor David. Also, Caribbean Cargo DC has pledged shipping services to UG from the United States in 2019 to 2020. And Professor Michael Ralph has pledged 30% of the sale of 4 books listed on the UGGAF website toward the UG Scholarship Fund. I'd now like to ask Professor Ivelaw Griffith to return to the stage. We would like to take a little bit of his time to have a photograph, a collective photograph with the Vice Chancellor of those who have contributed to this event as well as to the university. Jillian D'Souza, CEO of Caribbean Caterers, for coordinating the catering, contributing to the decor, and support to the events planning team. Ms. D'Souza, please come forward. Natasha Benjamin, Secretary of the Caribbean Students Association and Star Status Coordinator of the UDC chapter. She is also a member of the National Society of Collegiate Scholars, and she is the coordinator of the 15 UDC volunteers for tonight's event. And I know that Annette is not here, but I'd like to recognize her, and I think we should all recognize her. Annette Carter-Harris, Executive Assistant, Office of the Ambassador, the Embassy of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. She was vital in the promotion of the event, coordinating arrangements, and many, many other things about which we will never know. Let's give a round of applause to Annette. Sharon Brown, UG Alumni resident in DC. Ms. Brown, for her contribution and assistance to the event's planning team. Please come forward. Lawton Sargent, leader of the Image Band, for his contribution to the events. Lance D'Souza of Inkworks Incorporated, a UG alumnus, and Tracy Featherstone for her work on the reception. Also, Ralph Basilio from Basilio Cobb and Associates for constructing, managing, and servicing the website. And Larry Sindas, Carib Nations TV, for his coordination of the videography.
Part of what Madam Mistress of Ceremonies we think is important in the Renaissance project to do is to have tangible expressions of appreciation when good works are done. And let me see if you think that this event has been splendidly organized. Round of applause. And so I wanted to take the opportunity to offer a small token of appreciation, written appreciation, to some people who have been part of that small platoon helping to put this on tonight. They don't know of this, so they may be surprised. Some of them may not be here. But can Jillian D'Souza come, please? Can Simel
Shamel Jean or Jean? Not here? Annette Carter Harris? Not here either. Yes.
Can somebody from the embassy receive?
Okay. Nancy Martin. Nancy Martin is not here. Downstairs. Oh. Sharon Brown. Brown?
Hardworking people working elsewhere.
Tracy Featherstone. I know she's here. She's here. Tracy, come on up. From Brazil. Lawton Sargent. Is Lawton here? Oh, he's the leader of the band. Okay, so we're gonna give that to him later on, sure. Barry Dindial. Is Barry Dindial here? Yeah. Sure that's not Barry, but some representative of Barry. Best place to be. Lance D'Souza in Guyana. Next best place to be. And Natasha Benjamin. There she is.
We've got a special plaque for a couple of extra special people. And I want to invite them and surprise to them. This is an award to Professor John Edward Green for outstanding ambassadorial service on behalf of the University of Guyana on the occasion of the inaugural gathering of alumni and friends presented this October 26, 2018, Washington, D.C. Come on, John. Some of you may not know that the genesis of my classroom course. The genesis of this event dates to September 2016. It had two components. Component one was at a restaurant in Maryland, and component two was at Eddie and Oriel's home. And the pledge was made at the Greens. The Greens will lead an effort to do this. And so I want to invite Mrs. Oriel Europe Green. Standing ambassadorial service on behalf of the University of Guyana on the occasion of the inaugural gathering of alumni and friends, Professor Ivelaw Lord Griffith, Vice Chancellor and Principal, October 26, 2018, Washington, D.C. The final one goes to not only someone who has been an indefatigable laborer in the vineyards for this event, but has individually and with his company been doing a whole lot with and for the University of Guyana. One of the things that we struggle with and suffer from in Guyana is too much of a paper process. Paper storage. And Ralph Basilio and Basilio Cobb has been helping in the digitization of some of our records in the registry, and then we'll move to the HR and personnel and bursary. And so I want to invite Ralph. Yes, please give Ralph a big round of applause. Standing ambassadorial service on behalf of the University of Guyana on the occasion of the inaugural gathering of alumni and friends presented this 26th day of October 2018. With much appreciation, Ralph.
award for Nancy Martin, please. Crystalia Amor. Ah, there she comes.
The mistress of ceremonies told me I still have 10 seconds left on my 2 minutes. So I'm going to ask the two other people who we want to appreciate in a special way. Aubrey Stevenson. Is Aubrey around? Is he here? This is a simple scroll that says Vice Chancellor's Excellence Service Award for outstanding ambassadorial service on behalf of the University of Guyana on the occasion of the inaugural gathering of alumni and friends. Award presented to Aubrey Stevenson for his investment in scholarship in the University of Guyana, for training of his staff, and for employment of UG graduates in his company, thereby enhancing the university's international visibility.
Now he says he has some of our graduate credit. Can you, all the UG graduates who work with this gentleman, stand? Contributions to the DC Alumni Fund. Finally,
Marine Bunyan, the Vice Chancellor's Excellence Service Award for your admirable professional anchoring of the opening ceremony of the Renaissance Gala, and for your generous donation of the university to the university's gathering of alumni and friends, awarded October 26, 2018, Washington, D.C. Small scroll of appreciation.
now you can see the look.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to have been awarded this scroll, and I hope that you'll give me opportunities to make further contributions to the University of Guyana. Thank you so much. I would like now to ask Ralph Basilio to give us some brief closing remarks. Before Ralph speaks, I'd like to just remind you that we're going to have dancing afterwards, after this event. By now, your legs need to do some moving, as well as the rest of your bodies. And also, you can make pledges, and also the silent auction will be open until 11:30. So please take advantage of all those three things. Ralph.
Thank you. A big hand for Maureen, please. Thank you, Reverend. Very quickly, we've got to get to the dancing. Miss Band is great. You know Miss Band? Great. Okay, quickly. Oriel, you're please to come up and make a presentation very quickly, please. Thank you. After that, after Oriel comes up, while you're coming up, this part is a little faster than the earlier part. While she's coming up, Dawn Combe-Walks is going to come up and make a pledge on behalf of Mayor Gray. So first, Oriel.
I want to invite Maureen Bunyan to come up. We really appreciate the time you took out of your busy schedule to make our event a smashing success. To Maureen.
Thank you, Oriel. I got to meet Oriel recently, and she is one dynamic hard worker, my goodness. She and Dr. Green. If you're a table sponsor or anything in this room and you didn't get an email from them, something was wrong. They cranked out so many emails, oh my goodness. Okay, very quickly. Dawn, will you come up, please, and explain your purpose up here? Very special.
Real briefly, Former Mayor Gray Vince, my fiance, was trying to stay as long as he could to do this, but he was in session since 10 o'clock this morning and he's exhausted. So on behalf of the two of us, we are pledging a 3-year scholarship for a student at University of Guyana, full scholarship for 3 years. We've already done one this year, so you have our commitment for the next 2 years, and we'll talk some.
Please see Dr. Mohammed over please. Make sure she gets that written down. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, she's got her notebook and nothing is missed. You say a pledge, she's got it. Okay, this has been tremendous, right? Amen. Great, it's been good. I love this. I attended UNC myself, and I know where University of Guyana is. They didn't admit me, but that's okay. I'm a major supporter. Those of you who know me know that I support education. All day, all night, all year. I love it. And so I'm a big supporter. And as we leave, I want to ask every one of you to join us as we get behind this dynamic team that you saw here today. Dr. Mohammed, Dr. Griffith, they are tremendous visionaries. The University of Guyana has never had this in its 55-year history, has never. And it excites me to support them. I urge you to join us in supporting them so that they can take this university way to the next level. Thank you. Have a pleasant evening in this bank.